Hello, everyone, and welcome to this fantastic webinar coming from Creatio and Deloitte joint presentation today. Today, we are going to be talking about Creatio AI twins and how they help your revenue operations, driving growth in your business, driving more sales. Really exciting presentation today. So my name is Josh Human. I am the sales director for Creatio in the UK and Northern Europe. I'm going to be your host, and I'm supported today by Gift Brandy and Burley Kawasaki from Creatio. So I'm going to walk you through the agenda and talk a little bit about Creatio and Deloitte before handing straight over to them to get into the more exciting parts of today's show. So on the agenda today, we are going to start with Gift Brandy of Deloitte, speaking through items on no-code practices and a framework for governing no-code across enterprise. Then we're also going to be looking with Burley Kawasaki at some real-life case studies, real stories, how real customers are using these functionalities in their business. Very exciting stuff. And at the end, there will be a Q&A section. So if you do have questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll leave some time to go through them at the end. Ask away. Please keep this interactive and get the most out of your session. So a few introductions of Creatio. So we are the market leading no-code platform and CRM operating globally in over 100 countries. We're working with customers like Colgate-Palmolive, Eon, NASDAQ, and all across different industries doing different things, but really driving automation, driving value, and really changing the way you're able to manage your applications and manage your workflows. So for those of you that don't know Creatio, you're in for a treat today to learn about some of our more advanced AI capabilities. And we are joined by Deloitte Digital, who really need no introduction, and one of the world's largest, most successful SIs and software implementers. They are a major strategic partner of Creatio. Last year, they won our Partner of the Year award for lots of reasons, but we're seeing huge success with them, combining Deloitte's wealth of expertise across industries, across software and process best practices, combined with Creatio's flexibility and the ability to create whatever system you need, whatever workflow, working really well in synergy together. So very excited to be joined by Deloitte today, talking through some of their experience in the AI space. And our speakers today, we are joined by Gift Brandy of Deloitte Digital, senior consultant who comes with many, many years of experience, 3 years working at Deloitte, and really focuses around kind of data and business analysis and getting into the weeds on getting the data right first, then getting the process right and generating value in that way. We then have Burley Kawasaki from Creatio, our global VP of product marketing. Burley literally wrote the book on no code. He's an absolute expert in all things CRM, process automation, and how to use no code to become more agile, to become more flexible, to get more out of your business with less. So you've got two fantastic experts speaking for you today. First of all, then, handing over to Gift to talk through the AI twins revolution and what this really means. Gift, over to you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. That was great. So just to set the scene for us, I think it would be good for us to have an overview of what AI agents are about, their role, the interactions and relationship with the human agent, and really the benefits they bring into our CRM as we're looking at quite a transformative innovation that has come to stay with us in this current dispensation of what we would call the AI, the digital human talent collaborative CRM. So first up will be, what are AI agents? So they are autonomous systems that are capable of perceiving their environment, making decisions and taking actions to achieve specific goals. So they leverage AI technologies like the machine learning and natural language processing to adapt and learn from their experiences. So the key characteristics here to call out are the autonomy. So they operate independently, so they require minimal human intervention once they've been modeled and trained. They are also goal-oriented, so they are designed to achieve predefined objectives and they are reactive as well. They respond to changes in their environment. So the examples are the chatbots that we already know, the RPAs, the self-driving cars, recommendation systems. I know last year I was in California in November, and I went to the city of San Francisco. I've seen loads of these self-driving vehicles. Strangely, they were using Jaguars with loads of cameras, and it was like everyday thing. You know, people were up in and out of it, and I just was amazing to see how AI has come to transform the way we live and do our everyday life. Next, please. So before we go into what this agent AI in the CRM context, what the roles are, it's a good place to mention that these AI agents are here as collaborators. They are not in any way in competition with our human agents, and they are not here to replace the human agents. So really, they have been designed to come in and take out the heavy lifting, dealing with the routine activities so as to free the human agents to focus on the higher value and complex interactions. So with this in mind, please, can you stay on that slide? Yeah, so with this in mind, so given example, we are generating leads, nurturing those leads and maturing them into closeout and closing out that deal. Bringing that into a CRM context, what would be the AI agent role in that context? That would be lead qualification and scoring. So they'll take over things like analyzing those data to prioritize them for high potential leads and improving sales efficiency. Automate responses. They will triage those queries and provide instant replies to give our customers that instant message response and keep them happy. Data analysis and insights. So the AI will take over things like identifying trends, looking through our customer behavior and identify trends that would inform strategy. Sentiment analysis. Our AI is capable of, analyzing huge amount of data from surveys, social media, and gauge sentiments, identifying areas for improvement. Personalized recommendation. This is what we see every day when we interact with websites. Predictive analytics. So these are the capability where these systems are able to focus and highlight those risks that we can and help us to focus on proactively, tackling those risks to retain our customers and increase our retention rates. Next slide, please. So with the AI agents taking over the heavy lifting, the human agents are now free with time in their hands to look at complex problems solving and relationship building that requires emotional intelligence, human touch that would provide that trust and loyalty, and also have enough time in their hands to look after their AI, the AI body who is doing the heavy lifting for them, training them, ensuring that they are in optimal performance, as well as ensuring that all sort of identified biases are removed, such that the outputs we get from them are accurate, and ultimately also focusing on strategic decision making. So we develop and implement CRM strategies based on the insights we would have received from our AI bodies. Next slide, please. So with this sort of collaborative relationship between the digital and human talent in collaborative CRM, you almost would agree with me that the benefits will be realized almost instantly. So we would see strategically, we'll see increased efficiency because the automation of the routine tasks would now boost productivity, freeing up the human agents to focus on the complex activities. Improved customer experience. So fast response times, once the response is automated, we see fast response times that keeps our customers very happy. Data-driven decisions. Our insights will inform better strategies and resource allocation. Enhanced customer retention. That's the proactively identifying through the predictive analytical capability of our AI agents will enable us to proactively identify and mitigate risks and increase our retention rate. So the benefits are almost instantly achieved. So we're going to move into the next session without taking much of our time. We're going to introduce our product and industry expert, Burley, from joining us from the United States. He's going to take us through some use case and good examples of these AI agents in action across revenue operations. If we have the time, we're also going to see how we leverage this AI agent to streamline these routine activities, freeing up the human agents to concentrate on higher value activities. And perhaps if we can stretch it further, we could also see how we optimize our sales, marketing, and service processes for predictability and efficiency. So, Burley, if you're ready, I'll hand over to you.
Great. Thanks, Gift. So, we wanted to sort of make this real by walking through, as Gift said, some sort of real scenarios. But I first wanted to highlight that, this isn't just sort of Deloitte and Creatio talking about this sort of fundamental shift in the way that really we experience CRM. Leading analysts like Gartner here, right, have really, I think, identified that this is a fundamental shift, right? That yes, we'll continue to use CRM, but as you'll see, you'll sort of use it sort of in multiple ways. You'll still use sort of traditional CRM application screens, but more and more you'll start to use agents. You'll use enhanced natural language UIs, and so the way that you interact with CRM is fundamentally shifting, and that's, I think, validated by some of Gartner's research. And so, when we talk about that sort of new form of CRM, that new era of CRM, it's not about agents replacing the human, right? This is more about a collaboration, as you heard Gift talk about. It's about agents and humans working together, and each doing what they do best in order to help you deliver more and better results. So to just use an example before I jump into the scenario, let's go to the next slide and talk about how we think about RevOps in particular being sort of redesigned or reimagined, and not just sort of taking your existing RevOps processes and trying to automate the way you do today, but actually splitting it and redesigning the process so that both AI and humans take on the things that are best suited for them, right? And this really highlights that agents can be really good at, excuse me, certain tasks that are very sort of time consuming, like doing account research, collecting information on changes to leads or accounts, all the data entry and CRM hygiene that occurs. Humans are notoriously bad at sometimes doing that, and agents can really sort of take that off the plate, so to speak, and that frees up the human to really focus on relationship building, right? Defining the overall strategy for how to have a strategic dialogue in meeting the customer's needs. If you're, designing a new campaign, really being creative in the storytelling that needs to go into that. And so it's again finding the opportunities where AI and humans both focus on the things that they do really well individually. And so on the next slide, let me set up now the journey that I'll talk about. And we'll start with lead generation, and we'll show how, again, we have redesigned or reimagined the process. We'll go through then creating a bunch of leads as a result of an effective campaign, how those leads then get pursued, and how they get ultimately, hopefully, closed in terms of one opportunity. And then at the end of this, how they then can seamlessly transition into onboarding the customer and supporting them. And instead of these being sort of separate, fragmented systems, separate, fragmented processes, what we see is that the shift towards having agents really be used across these processes helps with ensuring that there aren't any missed handoffs, and that the journey for a customer is seamless as they move from start to finish. So let's take the first part of this process, which is really about lead generation. And this sort of highlights again how we can split the responsibilities so that, the agent can take advantage of a lot of the things that are very time consuming, very data intensive, right? It's constantly evaluating all the signals that you get, from the customer, whether they be visiting your website or, downloading brochures or showing up in an event, clicking on an ad, right? You can now synthesize massive amounts of unstructured and structured data and use that to really understand, intent and interest, right? Based on this, then the agent can start to auto suggest, here's the strategy of how to best approach that. And then, of course, behind the scenes, all of the sort of updates that are time consuming in terms of updating CRM as your prospects are exploring and accessing more and more information as part of a campaign that can automatically update without requiring any human necessary updates or interaction. And so the agent is really good at those sorts of things because they are done automatically. That frees the human then to really take the auto-generated profiles or strategies, review them, tailor them, right? Because there's always going to be some areas where I think the marketer, for example, may have more context about some of the nuances, and may tailor some of the messaging in a campaign or even at an account level if you're implementing a sort of more of an account-based marketing strategy. And then as the leads are processed and come in from different sources, then AI can take advantage of automatically scoring it, but again, a human will have more context and may adjust them, may override things. This is, I think, really important so that again, it's not just a blind response, but it takes into consideration a lot of the additional relationships and knowledge that the humans will have, and plus then the one-to-one interactions with conversations with a lead, right? That can be more empathetic and be more strategic because you have more time to focus on that. So let's see this in action. I'm going to show you a very quick example on the next slide. This is assuming you had an event. Alex, who you see here, attended the event, left his business card. Before you even leave the event, you use an agent on your mobile phone to capture information about Alex. So when you're back in the office, you now see an example of just a natural language experience. I can ask to see, okay, here, find me all the leads. You see that Alex has already been created inside your CRM solution. It's linked Alex correctly with the parent account automatically. It may even enrich some of this information with third-party sources like ZoomInfo or LinkedIn. And then at any time, I'm showing here natural language and how easy that is, but you can go back to sort of, full classic mode. I call it sometimes of CRM. So if you want to see and validate that, yes, the lead has been created, the, opportunity has been updated, et cetera, you can do that. But I'm going to stay inside conversational mode. So you see here, I want to take a next step. I want to meet with Alex. It generates a meeting agenda. It helps find content from the knowledge base on presentations that I may use or curate content from. It may help find case studies, for example, that are relevant based on the industry or based on the profile of this account. And so all of the time-consuming things that a seller may normally have to engage in, the agent has taken that really and done it, very rapidly. And so the pattern we see here is more of a human in the loop, right? Where the human reviews it, ensures that the message's tone can change and override it, but then can allow it to go forward and send an email, schedule a meeting, can do the things then after they have a chance to review and approve it. This helps the human really also validate the accuracy and the trustworthiness of the agent, which is obviously a very big topic in AI these days. Okay, so that was a very quick demo. We'll keep moving in the interest of time. So we've generated a lead from this event. It's automatically been, processed, scored, entered. You've had meetings with the prospect. Go to the next slide, Christine. So we're progressing the opportunity, right? And so agents are continuing to work behind the scenes, right? So as you get more information about different stakeholders, it can enrich the data, it can identify the different personas involved and what roles they play. It can segment them if you're targeting them with multi-channel campaigns to sort of continue to develop or nurture them, right? It can apply those to as well based on sort of predefined analytics. At the same time, then, of course, we want the human to be able to review it and refine the plans, right? Again, we know that in most cases you're going to have real world knowledge and input based on relationships, based on tailoring, on how to customize that for the customer or for the market. And so all of that then is a collaboration as you progress the opportunity. We'll see a next video here, which also highlights that you're not always in CRM, right? You're often in Outlook or in your meetings, and yet the agents can continue to assist you. So what we show here is our support for a built-in experience that's natively inside Outlook. And so I respond to an email from a prospect, it automatically identifies it's related to an opportunity in CRM. It can help identify and suggest next steps, next best action, next best offer. These are sort of traditional capabilities that you expect to find in CRM, but the point here is I'm not in CRM, right? I'm staying in Outlook, and yet the agent is supporting me in my workflow regardless of where I am. So the email response got a positive reaction. They want to meet, and so now I'm scheduling a meeting. Again, you'll see here an example of a meeting agent that automatically helps compare calendars, can help set up and schedule meetings. This is a great savings and productivity. Now we'll fast forward a couple days later. We're in the middle of the meeting. You see here we're inside Microsoft Teams, and again the agent is supporting us real time inside this conversation as well. And so the participants in the meeting are identified, the role they play in the sales cycle, and what are some of the then specific contextual information, prior orders that they may have made, how to give them the best pricing or discounting based on their history, their track record, based on volumes. These are, again, things that you expect to find in CRM, but I wasn't in CRM. I was inside Teams. Now, of course, when I go back into CRM, and you see here, I'm logged back in, I can go back through and I can find information that has been updated or created back inside CRM at all times. And so there's not this sort of fixed handoff between applications, right? It's really much more seamless that as I move in between the applications on my phone, on my desktop, inside CRM, inside Outlook, right, that it supports me wherever I am and supports my workflow. So we'll keep on going, though, in the interest of time. So let's assume now that we've just won this bid. We've closed the deal. They're a customer now, and we're onboarding them. This is where typically, again, things fall through the cracks, right? Some conversations that happen in the sales cycle don't get documented, and when support or customer success takes on their roles in the journey, right? Oftentimes they miss things, right? And this is where agents can help, right? Is because agents will help ensure that all of the data, whether it be inside CRM, inside documents, inside emails, all of this is summarized, consolidated together, that you can build then an onboarding plan that transitions to the customer's deployment of your product or service. Understands progress, understands are there issues or risks of adoption, and can support throughout the whole sort of ongoing support cycle, right? So as they have issues or report cases that need resolution, right? The AI can, in some cases, take care of automatically resolving these for simple cases, or can escalate up to a human support or technician as needed. This takes a lot of the reactive, time-consuming tasks of both onboarding and customer support, off the customer success personnel. It allows them to then focus really on the relationship building, on trying to really become more of a trusted advisor and advocate for the customer, help them with their continued usage of whatever product and service you have. And so it really shifts, again, the roles here, AI taking on a lot of the things that are time-consuming and reactive, with the customer success or the customer support really then becoming much more strategic and an advisor to the customer. So we don't have time for a demo here, so we're going to keep going. And I'll just sort of summarize here, and then we'll open it up for some questions and hear what your questions are. But you know, we saw here a much more integrated and AI native driven approach to the RevOps cycle, from lead gen to opportunity progression to onboarding your customer, right? Instead of having handoffs because everyone is, you know, sort of too siloed, working on their individual parts of a fragmented process. Here, agents can really sort of ensure consistent, smooth customer journeys. Also, within each of the domains, each of the people, you know, that you saw, they can now free up time off their plate and focus on the things that are more strategic, more creative, and that allows them to deliver more impact because AI agents are starting to take a lot of those detailed tasks. This ultimately, you know, accelerates revenue growth, it improves customer satisfaction, and ultimately it helps you reimagine and build a new organization for the future, right? One that isn't just simply humans inside the organization, but is now a hybrid or blended organization of both human talent, digital talent, that's really working and collaborating together to help you set the next level of growth. So that's hopefully helpful in terms of an example. Josh, back over to you, and you can wrap things up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Burley. Thank you, Gift. Really interesting content and really great to see just how far the Creatio AI platform has come and how much value it's able to generate for our customers. Really interesting stuff. So first of all, let's go to the Q&A. So we've had a few questions come through. Let me just pick out a couple here. So first question is commercial. Burley, maybe a question for you around, do we charge more for the AI usage?
Yeah, well, that's actually the most exciting part of all of this, Josh, is that there is no additional cost. So everything we talked about in terms of the agents, whether they be pre-built ones that we have built that complement your CRM application, or even custom agents that you may build yourself. We haven't really talked about that, but Creatio comes with a no-code agent builder, and so you can build your own as many as you want without any additional cost. And that's, I think, a very distinct and different approach. Many of the vendors out there are adding sort of new bolt-on products to complement their CRM. We believe that it's table stakes. We believe that in the future that customers, you know, will just expect AI agents to be part of the core value proposition of CRM, and that's really fueling our decision. Furthermore, it's not really even just a pricing sort of comment, but it's also the fact that everyone adopts agents at different speeds. Some of our customers are more forward-looking, trying to be an early adopter, but we work with customers in a lot of regulated industries, like, you know, banking or healthcare or public sector. And in those industries, they, with good reason, oftentimes move a little slower to adopt AI or agents. And so we don't really want to dictate for our customers how quickly they have to use one or the other. Both are included. You can move at the speed that's right for you, and that may even differ user by user, right? And so it's an and, not an or. We're not going to sell you a separate product that forces you to have to use agents, but you can, you know, use the right blend of human and digital based on your particular requirements.
Yeah, fantastic, Burley. Yeah, with Creatio, you haven't got a huge outlay or investment up front before you've really started testing the platform, using it and getting value from it. You've got access to it straight away for all your users, so it's really good. Gift, a question for you. If you're a company and you're thinking about going into AI or bringing kind of this AI twins into your business, what are the first things you want to consider? Kind of where would you start that journey?
Am I on mute?
Nope, we can hear you.
Right. So really, it depends on how mature your CRM journey is and what your objectives are. So really, it doesn't matter where you are. We can come in and work with you to understand your strategy and what your objectives are in terms of what you want to achieve. So your AI, like you said, Burley, it all depends. People will adopt, they're early adopters. Some people will watch to see how this new innovation will progress and where it is going. So wherever you are, we can come in and look at your strategy, and we can introduce this AI in the way it will be most serving to you. So it's all about the discovery. So you can, well, we're going to leave our contacts, and of course, I know through Josh, you would have a touch point on how they could get in touch with Deloitte.
Exactly that. We will. We definitely will. So thank you, Gift. Very, very interesting stuff. And Burley, just one more for you then. A few questions coming in around security in GDPR. Can you talk a little bit about how Creatio works from a security perspective with AR, AI, and what that means for GDPR and things like that as well?
Yeah. Great question. It's one that I think is top of mind for really every customer that I speak with. And so the first thing to understand is that the same controls and data privacy that Creatio enforces already today or in the past around GDPR and about protecting your data, those are extended to the agentic interactions as well. So if you flag something, for example, as something that should not be shared because of GDPR, that will also get enforced. We use the same sort of privacy and security controls in place when it constrains how much agents can access to. Furthermore, the data that is contained inside your particular environment stays in your environment, stays in your region, right? If you host it in the UK, you host it in Germany, it will stay in that. We don't move your data around. It is something that you control. You at all times have have the governance and ownership of that data. Now, when it comes to sending information to a large language model, such as OpenAI or Anthropic Claude, we anonymize any personal information. And so the only information that goes out to a large language model is simply the context information that allows us to invoke the model, but we don't train LLMs based on any of your data. It is anonymized. So we take a number of steps to ensure that the data that you have inside your environment stays in that environment and doesn't get shared. So anyway, we could go into a much longer discussion. There's information on the website that talks about our trust and security. This is something we take very seriously, and we've implemented a number of these guardrails and safeguards to really make sure that you have full control over how it gets used.
Fantastic. Thank you, Burley. And I guess just to summarize, the key point being your data is not extracted into any LLM. It's not saved anywhere else. It's just processed in the way you need it to be in the confines of the system. So fully GDPR compliant and nothing at risk there is the main takeaways. Good. All right. Thank you, guys.
There's one more question in the QAC around data enrichment. I can take this. But there's a question about does the agent from Creatio enrich the data? And the answer is yes. And it's configurable so that depending on what access to third-party services that you may want to use, like Apollo or again ZoomInfo, or there's a variety of services. You can basically use one of the connectors we have to link to that, and then the agent will automatically pull data from that. Now, it's not necessarily just a blind update. You can configure the rules. You can implement even a sort of a human in the loop model where you can review it before it merges the data together. So there's a configuration that you can use, but yes, it will simply work with the connectors that we have in the marketplace to pull third-party data in, and then automatically take steps that you define and control in terms of the right workflow to update records as they need to.
Okay. Fantastic. Good. Thank you, Burley. Good. So just a few closing remarks then from my side. So I talked at the beginning a little bit about Creatio and how we're a market leader in many spaces. We've got Gartner and Forrester recognizing us as a leader in both CRM and no-code platforms. But a report here from Nucleus Research, where they spoke to our customers who had been working with, let's say, some of the other leading CRM platforms on the market, and consistently our customers are seeing huge benefits. Here you see a 37% reduction in technology costs. That's across licenses, that's across implementation fees and professional services, be them external or internal, and overall a 70% reduction in implementation timelines. So I'll say that one again, a 70% reduction in implementation timelines. So if something was to take you 12 to 18 months with another provider, it could take you as little as 3 months with Creatio. These are consistent delivery timelines, and that's not just your first project. That's phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Think how agile you become when you have those increased speeds. And that's all from Creatio no code and our single platform architecture, and now greatly improved with our AI tool sets. Okay, and if you would like more information on how to use Creatio AI and where to get contact details for Deloitte and working with us, please scan your QR code here for extra information to download the guide on everything we've been talking about today.
And on top of that, I just want to add that as strategic partners, Deloitte Digital, we have a broad range of experience and deep knowledge in CRM and AI implementation. So what we're getting from the customer feedback from our various industry lead is really exciting. The AI Creatio is pulling tractions, and really the pipeline is getting busier, and it's exciting times. So scan that QR code and get in touch. We'll come and look at where you are in your journey.
That's right. When you're thinking AI, definitely think Deloitte Digital, and maybe ask for gift specifically if you want extra good service. All right, guys. So look, just to wrap up then, so Creatio, when you think of us, it's one platform. You have absolute freedom with the no code and genuine care from our service, and that goes for our friends at Deloitte as well. So thank you for joining today. Really good session, really good content. Hope to see you next time. Thank you very much.